Sustainability Karma, a podcast series on sustainable development, sustainability, and ESG, or environmental, social, and governance.
The 7 things to adapt for brain health is good sleep, good diet, good exercise, good breathing, good focus, good thoughts, and good emotions. And 3 good principles is no fear, no conflict, and no prejudice. Right. So eventually, it gives a lot of things, emphasizing the fact how important the brain is. What a marvelous organ we have, and we need to protect by all means. And no way we can afford to damage that. And without a brain, you are nobody. If you use it well, you are somebody. If you master it, you can become anybody. If you transcend, you can become God. So that is the what we described in spiritual books as Aham Brahmasmi. So they are equivalent to God. So this is the potential and the capacity what brain can give us, and it's our responsibility to make use of it.
Welcome to this episode of Sustainability Karma. I'm your host Naina Gautam, and today we have with us
Dr. N K Venkataramana.
He's a leading neurosurgeon in India. He's the founder, chairman of Brain Super Speciality Hospital in Bangalore. He has recently come out with the book, The Secret of Brain Wellness, Way Forward to a Healthy Life. Welcome, Dr. Venkataramana.
Thank you, Naina. Thank you very much for having me in this show.
Please tell us about your book.
The Secret of Brain Wellness is a compilation of information about the various functions of the brain. The brain is the crown jewel in creation as well as in evolution. But very few of us really understand the way it functions and its full capabilities. And very little of it is known and very little of it is utilized in our lifetimes. So I thought we will compose and compile all the brain functions in a very simple way based on the functions of the brain rather than on the structure and the complex scientific words, so that every person will be able to understand the way the brain functions. And we call it as the secret of brain wellness, because once you understand the functions and its capabilities, mysteries, abilities, and its phenomenal capabilities, you develop a kind of a respect. And once you understand and develop the respect, and you need to preserve it and protect it and promote it, nurture it in such a way that you use its capabilities to the fullest possibility in the life. So that part becomes the wellness aspect, so that you sustain and retain the brain's ability by, one is promoting its functionality, and secondly, avoiding all possible damages to the brain, so that you sustain the wellness of the brain. Now, once you have the brain which is at a good condition, and you can utilize it in the best way for your, navigating the life and making use of it to the best capacity. So it includes, lifestyle. It includes certain practices and certain things, do's and don'ts, so that eventually you know how well you can utilize the greatest marvel that is being given to us by creation, which is sitting with us and which is responsible for us to be recognized today in the society as the intellectuals, innovators, and human beings.
What are the changes that we can incorporate in our physical lives to maintain or enhance brain wellness?
So the brain is responsible for every internal need that we are requiring, and external demands that we are dealing with day-to-day life, social obligations, and our interactions with the nature and the universe, and also to the higher level of connectivity, which composes of spirituality and all other various levels of consciousness that has been described in the scriptures. The one single organ, that connects every single cell of our body in bilateral connection, that, it gives directions for it to act and gets feedback simultaneously to make sure that we perform all these things with the best of our ability in our lifetime. Now, as a brain as a structure, it works as a brain, body, and mind as a single entity. So we need to have, a right way of functioning, that we need to have a very healthy body and a healthy way of thinking to make the mind work to its best. And then there are certain physical aspects to sustain, in terms of eating healthy food, doing some physical exercise, proper sleep, proper activity, proper lifestyle, and the various things that can be adopted to sustain its excellence of function. At the same time, the thought process is very important. The healthy thinking and the right way of thinking, utilizing your thought, and ultimately it's the thought that gives rise to the action, and the action which gives the experience, and the experience that gives the memory, and the memory is the one which will make us learn, and from that experience we start creating newer thoughts, newer innovations, and newer things to this world, so that from time immemorial we have made ourselves comfortable in this world by using this very effectively. At the same time, this can also go in a negative way, creating destruction, damage. That's what we are seeing among the communities, among the societies, among the nations, where we, destroy, deliberately sometimes, because of the wrong perception and the wrong thinking and the wrong deeds. So we can put it in the right perspective by having a right physical activity, right health, and the right way of thinking, and the right way of emotions. The emotional health sometimes plays a significant role in understanding the proper context, and to have a proper reaction at the right time in the right way, so that we get the right kind of the result. So it involves a variety of physical lifestyle things, and as well as mental exercises, and certain practices like yoga, pranayama, and proper sleep is very essential for the brain. And at the same time, proper foods, certain things can be restricted, and the exercise is very important for the body as well as the brain. And going forward, the understanding can be very comprehensive. For that, you have a good attention, good way of understanding, and good way of expressing. All these are very, very important. And there are certain things you can deliberately avoid, having a good kind of right kind of emotions, like we call it as positive emotions, like having affection, love, rather than jealousy, anger, so, and comparisons. Okay, these kind of things, if we can avoid, and we were left with one kind of a universal love, and that can bring in good kind of emotions, good well-being, and a good understanding among ourselves, so that the discrepancies can be resolved to a great extent, and then we move forward in peace and in harmony.
How do social relationships impact brain wellness?
Social relations significantly affect our emotional health. The way you have the relationships with the family, the partners, and with the society, the colleagues, and the workplace, all these, including the government and the country which you belong to. If it comes to the larger things, between the communities and between the nations, the relationships are very, very important. The social relations in terms of, understanding each other, learning from each other, constructive way of talking, constructive criticism rather than collaborations, can be very constructive and creative. At the same time, any kind of debate can be good for the reasons, but if there is a destructive attitude, and then wrong perception and misunderstanding, and then that can lead to a lot of emotional disturbances, anger, jealousy, comparison, and hatred. And these things can create bad emotions, and these bad emotions can spoil ultimately the social relations. You can have that people start developing hatred, and then one would not like to interact with each other. The collaborations will start rather than it becomes a collision, end of the day, resulting in fights, wars, and all kinds of mishaps. So that can be very easily prevented if we can pause, think, and understand, and the whole perception can change if there is a good social relationships. And happiness, when you have a very good relationship, it gives you happiness. Happiness is the fundamental thing for our well-being. And when you are happy, so your energy is different, your perception is different, your activity is different, the way you think is different, and you are in a position, that kind of a love and affection you can show to people, where the minor discrepancies, minor things can be ignored or resolved. Whereas if you are in the bad mood or in a bad relationship, every small thing matters and it can ignite the already existing situations and then can lead to wildfire. So social relationships are very, very important. It is always better to nurture good social relationships, healthy social relationships, and happy social relationships, and carefully to avoid bad relations to a certain extent till the problem is resolved is more important than getting into it and running into the various kinds of emotional disturbances. And every time there is an emotional disturbance, it can result in a physical reaction in the body. The brain will react in a bad way, and there can be a lot of parts of the brain like hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal axis, and these can result in different kinds of hormones and like adrenaline and various things that can result in hypertension, anger, and energy wastage of the body, and then exhaustion and a lot of destruction. At the same time, it can also affect your immune system. The entire immune system can become weak and you become susceptible to diseases. So, and blood clotting and developing strokes, heart attacks, diabetes, all these can, hypertension, all these can result from these bad emotions and bad emotional reactions that the brain, which can act on the brain through these various hormonal systems. On the other hand, you have a very good social relationship. The kind of hormones that the brain releases is entirely different. They're so nice, and then you are relaxing, you are in a bliss, and you enjoy that. That is more constructive to the body, mind, immune system, and for the growth of the physical growth, mental growth, and then the immune system of the body, and it can create a very healthy system overall.
So does degenerated mental health improve after years? Do neurons regenerate?
Neurons do regenerate. The earlier thinking that the neurons are fixed and they cannot regenerate is a bad thing concept. But now things have changed. But the number of neurons may not change. But the connections of the neurons can go on changing all through the life. So the new connections can always form. Each new thing when you learn, it can create a new system of the circuit, new neurons and new connections, like how you meet people and creating network in the society. Similar way, there is a new network that keep creating in the brain all through the day and night, every day. Rather, every time you do a new thing, that your new circuit is formed, and that is how the brain keeps changing itself. And old things are getting moved off, and the new things are coming into action, and this is a process called pruning. And then eventually you have the ones which are very active neurons all the time. Now, the most important thing about the brain health is to keep the brain very active, socially, emotionally, as well as physically. The curiosity is very, very important, and the learning is a process that can continue all through. You should be very active and interactive. So that makes the brain agile and active all through the life. So the in a degenerative diseases, it all depends on the type of degenerative disease. There are some things which are very progressive, and that happens because of some of the toxins getting accumulated within the brain cells. And those cells, when they get destroyed, they may not come back to activity again or life. But the point is that to see that you keep the brain healthy so that you don't get into that kind of a degeneration. And the whole process and aim is to see that the brain is kept active and agile regardless of the age, so that it knows how to take care of the body. It knows how to create a good social relations, emotions, etc., so that we will be able to be active regardless of the age of the individual. But it's a challenge today that we are exposed to so many toxins in this world, and these toxins are starting from the adulterated food and polluted air and contaminated water and whatnot, and all the kinds of toxins, radiations we are getting exposed to. Everything is adulterated today. You cannot really look for the good quality what you are consuming. So as a result, innumerable number of diseases, including cancers, are increasing over the time. So this is a man-made problem, and then we need to make ourselves aware of this problem, so that how to take care of your own body, your own society, your own environment, so that you protect all these things, so that in turn you are getting protected.
How does aging impact the functioning of the brain?
Aging has, is a big phenomenon that, a lot of research is going on. And as we age, a lot of systems come down in their agility and functionality in the body. The brain is no exception to that. So as the age advances, the number of brain cells, the circuits, and the brain's blood supply to the brain, and overall brain activity and its ability to connect with the other cells and other areas gradually come down. So this, can be to a certain extent managed by a very healthy life all through, and very good lifestyle, and the way of we take it forward. So that is why in this book we have tried to mention about that. First thing is being aware of your own body. Though we use this body from the time of our birth all through the life, but very hardly we are aware of it. All that we know about its external appearance in terms of the skin color, and we maintain it with cosmetics, and at this body weight. Either you gain weight, you lose weight. Beyond that, we are not aware of it. So one need to be very, very aware of. You have to be healthy. You first thing what we require is a healthy body, and that requires a lot of effort right from the beginning. A good food, good sleep, and good exercise, and all healthy habits, and try and avoid all the things that can harm, body cells and the brain cells persistently all through the life. So this is a big exercise, and that need to be done. Now, the second thing to be healthy is that, awareness of your own speech. Majority of the social relations, you make it or break it by your own way of speaking. So if you are completely aware of the way you speak and the way you express whatever little thing or a big thing, and that can make a huge difference for you and to the others. It's better to be quiet sometimes rather than saying wrong things and getting into the wrong relationships. The third exercise is that these two are very easy. Literally, you'll be able to, with practice, you will be able to get control. Whereas awareness of thought is a little bigger exercise. If you can achieve that, I think then you are conserving a lot of energy. You are wasting energy continuously. There is something called as a mind chatter or a brain chatter. Constantly, you keep talking to yourself behind the scenes. Though you are doing something, talking to someone else, constantly something else will be talking to you as well. Do this, don't do this, do this. You are being reminded from the time you get up until you go to bed about various things, about the past, present, and future. So this is the mind chatter, and is enormous amount of energy is being wasted on that. And if you can be aware of those thoughts, and if you can suppress the bad thoughts, everything, you look at it through the thought, and every action takes place through the thought. And if you can modulate them or mold them to your essential needs, that is another very great and very tough exercise, but it's not invincible. And if you can do that, you are not only conserving energy, you become much more focused. And what I termed is in this book as mindedness. So brain is meant for doing one single function at a time. But today it's become a fashion for youth to do multitasking. They keep listening to music, they keep watching the TV, they keep eating food, and they keep typing something. This become a multitasking which the brain is not meant for. And everything is done in a very average way. So if you are minded and you can focus on one thing at a time, I think your focus will be effective, your output will be excellent, and your perfection will be good. And that's the way the brain functions. And the next step is the awareness of being itself. Most of us live very mechanically, except in a situation where you need to be. For example, driving, somebody learns driving and it becomes mechanical. You are also on the phone, you are looking at something, you are listening to the radio, and then you are driving. So unless something comes suddenly in front of you, then you suddenly become aware of what you're doing. So if you can sustain that awareness all through and do only when you're driving, you drive or nothing else. If you do that, every single action in life, and then what happens? You enjoy, right? If you do mechanically, your perception is completely different. Many things you see, but you really not visualize. Similarly, you keep doing many things, but you will not learn out of it anything. So, but if your awareness of being exists all through, then the way you perceive the world is different, and it will change your perception, as well as your experience. And experience is the one which is very important. So then when you start experiencing, then you enjoy, every bit of your life. And that's where, your real true happiness you experience, and then explore more, and exhilaration you will go through. And that's what is more important. So this is the 4, exercises that we have given. And at the same time, 3 things, you should never, compare yourself. Every individual has their own potential.
When it comes to brain wellness, 3 things that you prescribe.
Right. Don't complain, okay? Don't compare, okay? And don't criticize, right? Each one has their own role. Every individual has their own potential, their own ability. If you can practice these 3 C's, you will be wonderful. You will be very peaceful with yourself. And being at ease with yourself is the most important thing. In whatever is the circumstances you are put in, you should be at ease. So that is possible only when you practice these 3 things.
And 3 don'ts for brain wellness.
3 don'ts for brain wellness is don't do not damage your body by any means, misuse, right? Similarly, do not damage your brain, either physically in terms of accidents, not being safe, and at the same time using all toxins like smoking, alcohol and drug abuse, which is becoming very rampant in this country. And third, don't do multitasking.
Thank you, Dr. Venkataramana, for such an insightful conversation. This is Naina Gautam signing off for Sustainability Karma.
Thank you very much.
We hope you like this program. We look forward to your feedback on our WhatsApp number 9818120554. For participation in this program, write to us at sustainability.karma@gmail.com. Looking forward to meet you again at the same time next week with a new episode and a new guest. Till then, goodbye from all of us. Sustainability Karma, a podcast series on sustainable development, sustainability and ESG.